Hey folks, Jordan with TYT Politics, and I have the grave and somewhat joyous responsibility to report to you that Bill O'Reilly has been fired from Fox News. The crowd goes wild. Now, I used to work at Fox News, if you don't know. So I have a little personal experience with the O'Reilly factor. I never worked for O'Reilly, but I worked on the same floor as Bill O'Reilly. I could hear Bill O'Reilly pretty much down the hall at all times. I could see him in his office. And of course, I worked at Fox, so I know the culture there. But, before I get into all that, let's get down to the nitty gritty. What happened, if you've been not paying attention. Over the last few years, there's been allegations here or there from former Fox News producers and employees of sexual harassment by Bill O'Reilly. One infamous case, I think a decade ago, was a producer of his show basically saying that he spoke very sexually over the phone to her, talking about that he wanted to do certain things with her and a loofah. I wish I was kidding, but this is documented. But nothing ever happened because he was the highest rated host at Fox News. He was a profit engine machine for Fox News. And at that point, there wasn't, the Bill Cosby effect of, many, many women coming out at once. Fox had a very intimidating culture there for women to come out, led by Roger Ailes, its former CEO, that obviously last year was pretty much fired for the same thing, rampant sexual harassment. Bill O'Reilly, besides treating women this way, is an extremely abrasive and unpleasant person to be around. I routinely at Fox saw him screaming at staff of the O'Reilly factor. This was years ago. I worked at Fox from 2008 to 2010. But I routinely saw that. It was like many, not just O'Reilly, but many cable news anchors aren't exactly peachy to be around. So essentially, the executive producers of their program have to be the buffer so that the anchors don't really deal with the staff, because the anchors can be really diva-ish and sometimes very abrasive. But recently, more allegations came out from multiple women, some Fox News contributors, guests of Fox, employees of Fox, that Bill O'Reilly had repeatedly sexually harassed women. It also came out recently that Megyn Kelly, who had left Fox News recently for NBC News, part of why she left was knowledge that Bill O'Reilly had sexually harassed women. So again, O'Reilly, of course, denies all this. He never has done anything wrong in his life, yada, yada, yada. But my mama says if one person don't like you, that's okay. If 20 people don't, look in the mirror. All these women are not coming out of the woodwork saying these things with zero truth to them. So Fox News just released a statement. 21st Century Fox, which is the parent company of Fox News. 21st Century Fox today issued the following statement. After a thorough and careful review of the allegations, the company and Bill O'Reilly have agreed that Bill O'Reilly will not be returning to the Fox News channel. Translated, we fired him. This is not Bill O'Reilly's decision. And ironically enough, Bill O'Reilly today is in the Vatican and met with the Pope. So Bill O'Reilly was fired on the same day he met with Pope Francis. So, little comfort for Bill O'Reilly. There's going to be plenty of liberal, progressive commentators that do victory laps today that gloat, and I would love to be one of them. But I want to get into a broader thing. Obviously, I'm not going to get into how will Fox survive after this? I don't really care. I think Fox is on the way out anyway. Their audience is very old. It's the oldest audience in all of cable news. The average audience is 68 years old. O'Reilly's audience was actually 70 years old. Now, there are people that age that are watching me right now and watch TYT. So it's not to say that we don't want older viewers, but if your entire network is based on a very older demographic, that's not good for the long-term future of your network. That's just a fact. But, Bill O'Reilly, he had an older audience, and of course, Bill O'Reilly, hold on one second. Bill O'Reilly, of course, sexual harassment is unacceptable, whether it's in the workplace, your personal life, it doesn't matter. You can't sexually harass women. Women shouldn't be sexually harassing men, especially in a workplace, but period. So he should be gone for that kind of behavior. But I also want to address, because I think a lot of our politics in the United States have become so divided and so distorted. I mean, I go around the country. I went around for the campaign last year. I've been going around on other stories for months after. And you meet a lot of just very, very misinformed people, many of them watching Bill O'Reilly and watching Fox News and now MSNBC and CNN. It's not just Fox. But they watch Bill O'Reilly. And outside of the predatory treatment towards women, this is a con man. This always has been a con man. Probably why him and Donald Trump were friends. A little behind the scenes, I went to a Yankee game in New York a couple years ago. Donald Trump, not president at the time, and Bill O'Reilly sitting front row together. So go figure. And by the way, Donald Trump, he hasn't made a comment yet, but when all these allegations were coming out, he said Bill O'Reilly had done nothing wrong. But Bill O'Reilly was one of the catalysts for this misinformation age, this creation of conservative talk radio on steroids that gave us Fox News. This basically trying to create a conservative victimization complex. And it existed a little bit before then, but it went on steroids with O'Reilly. That it's the evil mainstream, what did he call it? The far left zealots on the left. And anything liberals say is just an evil plot. That came from O'Reilly. I also, for example, I happen to, as a consumer, respect Sean Hannity more than I do Bill O'Reilly. So before you go crazy and clobber me over the head, let me tell you why. Because at least Sean Hannity isn't hiding who he is. He is a foaming at the mouth. Let me take the press releases that conservative think tanks and conservative politicians send me and just regurgitate it on television. He doesn't hide that's who he is. O'Reilly pretended to be, quote, out for the folks. Day after day, week after week, year after year. O'Reilly was just a layman, He was from Levittown, Long Island. I'm from Long Island. And he's out, looking out for the folks. And he's not conservative, he's not liberal, he was traditional. Well, some of the most ridiculous, race-baiting, xenophobic, misogynistic misinformation in all of television news came from the no spin zone, which was the O'Reilly factor. I mean, where do you even start? The war on Christmas. There's a war on Christmas in America because we say Happy Holidays instead of Merry Christmas. The Black Panthers being evil. Al Sharpton and the evil left. Barack Obama, within 30 seconds, he's a socialist. And a lot of these people, I don't particularly love either. But Bill O'Reilly, I have no problem with conservatives having opinion shows on Fox News or anywhere else. The more voices, the better, even if they vary. The problem was Bill O'Reilly routinely was factually incorrect. He knew he was factually incorrect, and they pushed it anyway. And this goes down the list at Fox News. And he was championed on the right as, Bill O'Reilly is looking out for the folks. Bill O'Reilly took talking points from Matt Drudge, conservative think tanks, Republican politicians, put it up, mashed it up into a nice mixed salad bowl, and created propaganda for nearly 20 years on Fox News. I was there. I worked there for over 2 years. And he was very successful because there was a huge cross-section of this country who watched Fox News, who were resistant to the country changing, to the country becoming a little more black and brown, or a lot more black and brown since Fox News started, to the country being less religious, to the country embracing their sexuality more. to homosexuality becoming more mainstream, which it always should have been. Bill O'Reilly, like the rest of Fox News, was a selective outrage machine. You could have the same story when President Barack Obama was president versus Donald Trump as president. If it was Barack Obama, Obama should stop blaming his predecessor Bush. When it's Trump doing the same thing, Trump's really walked into a mess here. Obama left him a mess. This is the conservative victimization distortion complex, and has been going on successfully for Fox News for 20 years. And let's call it what it is. Fox News did not fire Bill O'Reilly because he sexually harassed women. They knew he sexually harassed women for quite some time. They fired Bill O'Reilly because everybody else found out. And their advertisers boycotted, if you don't know. Many, many advertisers boycotted to the point where they didn't even have an hour's worth of advertisements. So yes, the leading part of this story is Bill O'Reilly was a serial sexual predator who harassed women in the workplace, and he's probably done it outside of the workplace. But I think the legacy of Bill O'Reilly and the O'Reilly factor is basically distorting and dumbing down a whole generation of viewers. Because God bless them, my father, my parents, my mother, my father, love them, good people. They watch Fox News. My father loves Bill O'Reilly. I'm going to call him after this. He'll be shocked. But when I actually speak with my father and explain to him stories and explain to him like fact first what O'Reilly says, it's like you're chipping away at a giant, giant wall of misinformation. And I see it around the country. And that's part of why we have the grotesque level of income inequality that Bernie Sanders talks about all the time. That's part of why we have a country where very few have very much and the rest of us scrap for scrums. Because people like Bill O'Reilly and the rest of his colleagues at Fox News have been experts at blaming Mexicans and Muslims and the far left and everybody else, rather than blaming conservatives and neoliberals for selling out their people and selling their jobs overseas and giving tax cuts to the rich and tax cuts to corporations and deregulating. So not only is this a victory for the workplace, and, whatever their reason was, you have to credit Fox News. They're going to take a financial hit from getting rid of Bill O'Reilly. He is a money machine for them. His program, the advertising revenue, creates hundreds of millions of dollars a year for Fox News. Fox News is I believe, between 10 and 15% of 21st Century Fox's portfolio revenue comes from Fox News. So they are taking a risk getting rid of O'Reilly, but they're doing the right thing. But beyond just getting rid of a serial sexual assaulter, this is a victory for real news, for truth, common sense, and intellectual honesty. Because again, Bill O'Reilly was not an intellectually honest man. He was a race hustler. He was a misogynist. He attacked people who were anti-war and made them seem anti-American. If you ever want to watch a documentary called Outfoxed, Bill O'Reilly shamefully attacked the son of a 9/11 worker who lost his life in 9/11. The son was against the Iraq War, and Bill O'Reilly brought him on and screamed at him for being against the Iraq War, saying his father, who died on 9/11, would be ashamed of his son who was saying this, and said, "Get off my set before I throw you out." His name was Jeremy Glick. Google Jeremy Glick and Bill O'Reilly. It will be interesting to see what the President of the United States says about this news, because again, Trump came out before and said that Bill O'Reilly did nothing wrong. We'll see if he turns on the Murdochs and Fox News. But again, obviously the Young Turks will be talking about this. There's plenty of people who will be talking about this, doing victory laps, happy dances. I think this is a good day, not just for the progressive movement, but just humanity and society. Fraudulent people who push distortions and falsehoods and racism and misogyny should not have airwaves in America. Whether it's on TV, online, doesn't matter where. They should not have it. If I push something that is incorrect, I will come out and I will correct it. Because that's not my intention. I'm not here to get ratings or views off of falsehoods or racism or misogyny or any of that. I'm here to bring you the facts as I know them, to give you my take and my passion, and I will build an audience that way. Bill O'Reilly did not. So, Bill O'Reilly, fired from Fox News. Let the guessing game begin. How soon he'll join the Trump administration. Thank you for watching. Follow me at JORDANCHARITON.